Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. I feel like my mouth is way up in this microphone this evening, but hey, maybe that's a good thing. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, B?
I'm good. How you doing, James?
I am doing great. The madness is here. I'm surrounded by the madness, and I love it. I love it. Hey, we got a recording of me and Musa Marathi. You'll see. You just no more introduction for that one. Everybody just needs to see that one. All right. We're going to highlight what's going on in Clemson athletics with baseball and softball this weekend. We're going to talk a little Clemson basketball because that happened this week. I guess we're bringing that up again.
Oh, yeah.
There's something I want to bring up about conference expansion. A little teaser. Football, a little bit of football, and then we're going to get into our Fun Fans bracketology. Oh, we're also going to give away a koozie. But first, we need to point out that we are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, Fanboys Fangirls is a perfect place for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and all over Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all forms of social media. The Fun Fans is the official podcast for Clemson fans. Now, you scroll to the bottom of thefanboys.com and you'll see something that we love. It's how to support troops. Homes for troops. Scroll to the bottom of the page and you can help us build homes and rebuild lives for our troops. Now, we love that. What else do we love, Bailey?
Oh, we always love Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering. The best wings around with 2 locations in the upstate. 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. Find them at RubensC.com. Rubens is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans.
Look at there. I mean, we're going to get around to this is what Fun Fans do. Me and Jillian went to that NIT game. We were the only people tailgating, but you know what? We had our wings. It was a good time. All right.
That's good.
That was awesome. All right. So our interview is recorded this evening in honor of March Madness. Had a little competition. I went and found the best shooter at my school, Greer Middle College, the best shooter on the team. Okay. If he's not the leading scorer in every game, he's really close. He had an off night probably if he's not the leading scorer in every game. Musa Marathi, he's a junior, rising senior. And I challenged him in honor of March Madness to a game of horse. So let's see how that went and asked him a few questions as well. Hey, what's up, Fun Fans? Your host, James Dillard here with all-star basketball player Musa Marathi, Greer Middle College Charter High School, standout junior. He and I are about to have our first horse contest. We're going to play a little game of horse and see who can make the swishes and not get the misses. And we're doing this in honor of March Madness. It literally just started today, right before we came in here filming. I think I heard that Furman has already beat Virginia. That's why they call it Madness. Musa, you got your eye on any colleges?
Purdue, definitely. I hope they win the tournament, And for myself, Furman, repping local, Hopefully they keep going.
That's right. So have you contacted Furman or they reached out to you?
I've contacted them, but yeah, I'm actually going to Queens University next Saturday just to go visit.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Well, what's your favorite? So is Purdue your favorite team, like from a fan standpoint?
Fan standpoint, I gotta say UConn because my mom's from Connecticut. But Purdue for this year, just I like their big man for sure.
Very good. All right, it never hurts to go with mom's team. All right, let's get it. Look at there. Oh,
that shot was a little easy, but I got you with this one.
I mean, we just couldn't miss. It was
James, you were knocking them down from all over the place.
It was one of those days. It was just one of those days. I mean, but
I do have a couple of questions as a
we're literally throwing it over the curtain. That divides the. I mean, but When it's falling, it's falling.
Okay, first of all, in the initial interview before the competition started, you appeared to be a little out of breath. Did you do some loosening up or something, or were you?
No, I just come off parking lot duty, so
Oh, okay,
that's a little
okay.
rough.
And did you call bank when you banked them in?
Every time the bank's always open.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What's not funny is Musa, which I picked Purdue as well. Obviously, Moose's prediction didn't age well since we recorded that, but he's right in there with a ton of other folks, including myself, that had Purdue going way further than not getting out of the first round. But
Yeah, well, Purdue's only the second number one seed ever to be beaten by a number 16 seed, and the first was Virginia a couple years ago. So
bless,
I had Purdue in a couple of my brackets as well.
bless. Well, that was fun though, and hopefully we'll get Musa hooked up with our friends at Recruiting Limo. So anyway, that being said, Bailey, let's do a quick update on Clemson baseball, softball. What happened this past week?
Today, softball completed the sweep of Virginia, and they are 29-1, 6-0 in the ACC, and ranked number 4 in the nation. Baseball dropped 2 out of 3 to the Duke Blue Devils, and I did not see any of that, but I did read that the relief pitching was roughed up a little bit, so need to clean that up. But
yeah, my understanding is we blew a lead today. We could have taken the series, but we blew a ninth inning lead.
well, that's the beauty of baseball, and we do that. I'm sorry. We do that. We play 3-game series here with our high school, so there's there's no tiebreakers. You either win the series or you don't.
That's right. And Clemson did pick up a victory against College of Charleston, I believe, Tuesday. So I think so. Overall, baseball went 2-2. Softball, those ladies are just kind of ridiculously good, which is awesome. And something else happened this week. Do we want to talk about the fun fan experience of the men's NIT, or do we want to talk the basketball first?
Well, we can talk to basketball first. It's the same thing that's happened to them in their bad losses all year. They did not hit shots when they needed to. And let's just be perfectly honest, okay? There's a human element to this. We're talking about 18 to 22-year-olds who probably faced the greatest disappointment of their, definitely of their career. I think we've already talked about this last week. I thought they did everything they needed to do to get into the NCAA tournament, and then they didn't. And then they have to turn around and play a game with a crowd of about 3,000 people, which is I know you were one of them, but I just don't know. When I went to Clemson University, if there was a basketball game, we just went to it.
Right.
Like I don't remember not going. Like I really truly don't.
I think the student section was, I'm gonna say full. It wasn't necessarily packed, but then again, like you say, it was an opportunity for all students to come out. $15 for a ticket, general admission. You could have got there early and sat in some really good seats. And it was a little bit of a crowd, but it definitely was not a crowd.
No, okay. Clemson football plays in the NIT. Death Valley's still pretty much full.
Packed.
So
spring game.
It's only human nature that they would be disappointed, and they should have been, because like I said last week, there's no rhyme or reason to why they weren't in other than non-conference strength of schedule, and like we talked about, they can't do a lot about the fact that certain teams weren't very good that they thought were going to be better. So anyway, moving on, the ladies won.
The ladies, big victory for the ladies in the NIT, 20-point victory over High Point. They will be taking on Auburn tomorrow night at home again. And guess who else will be there? Spring break for yours.
All right. Spring breaking it.
Yeah, taking the youngest this time. And we're going to go support the Lady Tigers in the second round of the NIT. And speaking of taking the daughter, so we were the only ones tailgating. I don't understand that because we're the fun fans, maybe. Swung by Rubens Powdersville on our way. It's not an easy trek
Right.
to go across the upstate late in the evening to get ready for a game. So here's me and Jillian. We got us some good
Well,
parking under the breezeway.
did you expect people to be tailgating?
Uh, maybe.
You need to get out more. You need to go to more basketball games.
Yeah, probably do. Hey, we tailgated baseball. We need to do some tailgating at some softball. But speaking of laying eggs, there was some good news this week. Just want to point this out. This also popped up. Egg prices have fallen after 5 months of hikes.
So I went to the grocery store this morning, and I'm glad you put this on here
Me too.
because I bought some eggs, and we still had some eggs. But when I saw that the prices had dropped, I bought eggs. But even
Eggs.
though I didn't really have to have the eggs, I went ahead and purchased them at what seemed to be normal prices.
Well, it's
Now,
almost Easter, so chickens
yeah,
knew they needed to get it going.
now if we can get the rest of the grocery prices to go down, it would be even better.
Yeah. Not hold my breath on that one. But anyway, who doesn't lay eggs, figuratively speak, or literally, I'm sure? J-Do. J-Do, MC, entertainer, entrepreneur, pep rallies, corporate events, game shows, fundraisers, galas, etc. Just put that man on the mic and let him liven up the party. Not only is J-Do a friend of mine, I've seen him work, and you and your organization will not be disappointed anytime you add J-Do to your function. You can find him at itsjdo.com and on all forms of social media at itsjdo. And I keep pointing this out. I am planning to attend yet another gala in April. And this is no joke. There's going to be a big time interview coming up right around that gala. It's coming. So just be ready mid-April. So whatever show comes on after that one, that's gonna be legit. So all right. So we're supporting the Lady Tigers conference expansion.
Okay.
So this came up this week. And I don't know if you saw this, but they are planning to play ACC Georgia Tech versus Florida State it's going to be the first ACC game for both teams 2024 in Dublin, Ireland in the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but I'm not going to try that one again.
Well, they've played, there's been several college football games in Ireland through the years. And actually, this year, Notre Dame opens up with Navy in Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's kind of fitting for Notre Dame, I guess.
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense. And since in our notes here it says give Bailey's take on it, look, it's pretty cool. But I would, if I were the head coach, here's what I would worry about. One, I'm definitely not going to open up my conference schedule in Ireland. Okay, there's so many things that could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get over there, and it's not even called a field; it's a pitch. Okay, you don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's a great place to play. I'm sure it's in immaculate shape. But there's just so many things that I would be worried about as a coach. Like, did we forget something? You can't run out to Dick's Sporting Goods and get a kicking tee in Dublin, Ireland. I'm almost certain of that.
That would be of
Now,
concern.
while we're on international affairs,
okay,
have you seen any of the World Baseball Classic?
I have not.
Well, the game last night was very exciting, and it is like, I guess these guys are playing, and there's all these teams from all these countries, and like Venezuela is really good. They had all big leaguers. The United States team has all big leaguers, but I looked at all the teams in it, and Great Britain has a baseball team in this tournament. Croatia has a baseball team in this tournament.
Okay.
And you don't really think of baseball as kind of like a American
Like
slash
apple pie.
slash Central and South America sport.
Mm-hmm.
Not even really South America.
It's big in
Uh,
Japan.
yeah, and then in Asia. But China has
Yes.
a team. Um, Cuba obviously has a team, and then the United States actually plays Cuba tonight. I'm trying to find the exact game time. Oh, 7 o'clock, and everything is in Miami. Welcome to Miami. So
All
tonight will
right.
be tough too, because
All right. Well, I think Bailey
to
froze. Are you back?
basically win it.
Okay. So
I'm
it's going to
back.
be tough to win it. That's all right. All right. Well, speaking of winning, March Madness has begun. I love March Madness. This is us watching all the games at one time on the TV, thanks to YouTube. No thanks for increasing their monthly rates, but thanks for providing the quad view channel, I guess you could say. And we got some brackets going on. We have a pool. And I said that earlier today, I think I put out a tweet that I'm like a drain. I'm at the bottom of every pool I'm in, baby, because I mean it's just been bad. Bad, bad, bad. Folks in our pool, y'all, they know who's winning. My family entered, and the fun we've had this weekend is why we enter brackets. Three daughters, they really, I don't want to say they could care less about basketball, but they could care less about basketball. But once once we get into that bracket pool competition and they see themselves move, up and down on the who's ranked higher or whatever, and I mean they know to pull for a team that they've picked. So it's been a fun weekend, especially having had all three of them home this weekend. So that's been really, really, really fun and really nice. But
Well, it would
it's
be
made the
hard for
brackets
you to
fun.
be last because I'm last.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
there are 12 entries, and I am dead last.
Yeah. If anybody entered to see how well they would do against Bailey and James, they are doing quite well,
Hey, look at
including
my
my
mom.
daughters.
My mom's coming in at fifth place.
Your mom was leading the way there for a bit, but I
Yeah.
don't know. The Virginia pick didn't help her.
No, yeah, there's the V beside her name. Sorry, mom.
Yeah. So anyway, love the upsets. How about the Furman Paladins?
That's right.
Obviously, they, didn't get it done in game two, but to pull off that upset at the end of that game, what in the world happened? Coach Jackson, put your coaching
I
hat on.
honestly,
What
I
in the
didn't
world
see
happened?
it. I didn't see it.
You hadn't seen the
I was
replays or
working.
anything?
No, and I've been busy ever since, and I keep meeting my my first cousin is a Princeton graduate. His
Mm-hmm.
wife was a Virginia graduate.
Mm.
Okay, so we have this family group thread, and they were watching. So they watched Virginia play, and she was all devastated. And then Princeton played
Ooh.
right after, so they had a big time. And then Princeton pulls off the upset yesterday too. So good stuff. Princeton's in the Sweet 16. Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue.
Yep.
Um, Arkansas beat Kansas. So two number one seeds are gone. So
Gone.
Princeton's they've beat a two seed, and then yesterday, who did they beat yesterday? Oh, why am I forgetting right now? Because it wasn't even Missouri. They were a 7 seed.
Missouri. Yeah.
Yep. So with Nick Honor on Missouri's team, who played for the Clemson Tigers the
For
past
the
two
Tigers.
seasons. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see. Princeton's good. Princeton, if they hit, it all goes back to shooting. In your little segment, you made every shot.
I did.
You're hard to beat when you make all those 3-pointers. I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah, that's the way it is. Me and Musa, we have to play another game. Love the excitement. Love the upsets. I guess Princeton's the potential Cinderella story of the tournament this year, and it is those big guys go down. Let me just ask one question, and I'm really asking, but today the games that have happened so far today, maybe it hadn't been a thing because Kentucky did lose earlier today. But I'm watching Tennessee beat Duke, and I'm looking at, well, Missouri, I guess, is another exception. But you were right, Bailey. The SEC, I think I sent you a text after the first round. The Southeastern Conference, killing it. I mean, they're killing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, we talked about it last week. They're one of the best. I didn't agree with the Big Ten, even though I'm watching right now. Michigan State is up 1 on Marquette with 3.5 minutes to go. So, but the SEC, they're athletic, they're pretty good. But as the reason we have more and more, let's use the word parity, is because we have this thing called the transfer portal,
right?
Where these schools that it used to take a couple transfers to sit out a year and then you would be competitive. Now you're competitive right off the bat. So the distance between number ones and number 16s is doing this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I doubt Princeton has any transfer portal kids. That's just not somewhere you apply and get in.
Right.
It's pretty prestigious process. But the rest of the schools, they always say, "Oh, he transferred from here. He played here his first year, then he transferred here." I mean, DJ Burns played at NC State. He played at Tennessee for a year. He was the Big South Player of the Year at Winthrop, and now he's at NC State. So he's been at 3 different schools in 3 years.
Well, let me ask this though, and I may be the only one, but according to the Twitterverse, I'm not the only one. But is there a touch? We talk about the SEC bias in football. Was there a touch of SEC bias in basketball? I mean, it looked like Tennessee beat up Duke. Now, Duke's used to getting the calls, maybe. They were just playing tough. Were they playing tough, or was Tennessee playing rough and getting away with, a little bit
playing
extra?
like Rick Barnes coaches them.
Okay, and
because
in
if
those
you foul
games,
so much,
they
cannot call them all.
Right. So, and is that across the board in the SEC? Because there seemed to be a good bit of that. And then I'm watching Auburn play, and they're a number 8 or 9 seed, and they're playing in Alabama. How does an 8 or 9 seed get in the tournament and not even really have to travel to play?
Well, they do those pods now. They do different. Like, it's not like it used to be, where they would, if they were in the West region, they would go to Sacramento, California. Now they can be in the West region and still play in Alabama, in Birmingham, Alabama. Now that gives them a little bit of an unfair advantage.
Yes.
But it is what it is. Tennessee's just, that's how Tennessee plays. If you want to go back to that conversation for a second. But I mean, look, I can just give you an example. I refereed a game today, AAU game, where the team that was the better team was playing full court pressure, and they were fouling and fouling and fouling. Well, when I called about the first 5 fouls, they stopped fouling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and at the end of the first half, I called 7 on them and 5 on the other team that was not pressing. So they figured it out. Like,
right.
He's going to call these fouls. But if referees don't call it, guess what that team's going to do? They're just going to keep fouling. And if it's not a foul, if it's not called foul.
So maybe it's not biased, but honestly, Tennessee may have gotten a little bit lucky, because if that team of referees would have called the game a little bit, I don't know, tighter, closer, or whatever you want to call it, it could have been a whole different ball game.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I've watched all these tournament games here and there, and they're letting them play. I mean, the players should decide the game, not the referees.
I agree. I do agree with that. So it's not like I'm upset about it, but I was just kind of noticing. You know what else I noticed? I just want to point this out. Speaking of the players, those players are good. There's some kids in college basketball, and like, if you've listened to this podcast, I don't keep up with college basketball probably this year more than any other year, but those kids are good. I mean, every team has some flat out superstar athletes. They're big, they're physical, they can play, they can shoot, they're fast. I mean, they're all, 15 years ago, they all would have been, NBA players. I guess now the NBA's got a little more to choose from. But
listen, man,
I'm impressed.
You only have to have 5.
Yeah, and I mean, they're good.
Football's different. You have to have 11. You can find 5.
and some backups.
You don't even really need that many.
Well, I mean in football, but yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
It's easier to find 5 guys that can compete at every level.
So it's like you say, it's the parity is bringing the competition closer for sure. So,
Right.
but it's a good thing for the fans. You know what else is good for the fans? Diamond etched products. These guys have mastered a diamond laser engraving process, and they can put almost any design on items such as license plates, yard signs, tumblers, water bottles, and more for a high quality, forever lasting, custom engraved product. Check out Diamond Etched Products at diamondetchedproducts.com. For inquiries and or orders, email Jalen at diamondetchedproducts.com. I got a picture of some navy blue Clover Blue Eagle license plates today,
All
by the
right.
way, Coach Jackson. And it's time to do the giveaway. We're giving away a koozie
All right.
today, randomly selected from our Twitter followers.
Drum roll,
And
please.
this week's winner is Colonel Richard Baslam, if I pronounced that correctly. So congratulations, Colonel. Thank you for your service and thanks for your support. I'll be reaching out to get your shipping information. And how can you win? You just need to be following us on our Facebook page, following us on Twitter. We alternate one to the other each week, randomly selecting a winner, giving away a tumbler and a koozie. And remember, this is not styrofoam. This is stainless steel. Keeps what's hot, hot. Keeps what's cold, cold. Koozie there fits bottles and cans. All right.
Can
So,
I ask you a question
yes,
before
sir.
we move on? All this technology we have, we don't have a drum roll sound effect?
I'll get it. We'll work on that.
I mean, I thought we probably should have that for the giveaway.
It's not in the budget.
Gotcha.
We got to work on our budget. All right. Well, that's awesome. But speaking of the budget, more like, share, make sure you find us on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks again for checking us out. Click subscribe, especially on YouTube. We're going to continue to bring you some stories, some cool. And I told you there's a huge one coming up. It's going to be mid to late April, and still working on that Hip Tape President. But I do have a radio personality out of Charlotte, a sports media guy coming, Jim Slade, Captain Jim. You've heard us talk about him on there before. And any of you Clemson fans that know Dean the Hat Cox, we got him lined up to tell us some of his cool stories. So you do not want to miss that. So on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thriller Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Hey, it's March Madness, everybody. Enjoy the games.
We out of
Go
here.
Tigers.